It's official. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on imports from more than 90 countries have kicked in. And the ripple effect? It's shaking up global trade, from rich economies to developing nations, with some scrambling for negotiations while others prepare for damage control.
Well, in some ways, I'm not surprised because the president likes to keep people on their toes, keep countries guessing as to what is likely to happen next. It's also putting pressure on those countries that have yet to sign a trade agreement that there will be consequences if they don't.
The new levies, in some cases as high as 50%, are payable by companies bringing goods into the US. While technically a tax on importers, those costs often get passed on to American consumers. For some nations, the hit is massive. Brazil now faces one of the highest US tariff rates in the world, a flat 50% on most goods. India is next in line, set to be hit with the same from August 27. Canada has been living with 35% duties since last week, though many goods are shielded by the US-Mexico-Canada trade deal. And Mexico, for now, has dodged an immediate hike, keeping its current rates for another 90 days. But the real story is how countries are responding. And it's a mix of resistance, relief efforts, and plain survival mode. Brazil has already rolled out plans for state aid to cushion businesses from the blow, calling the tariffs unacceptable pressure.
Dia que gera uma certa expectativa, uma certa preocupação por parte do governo brasileiro em relação não só às consequências deste tarifaço aplicado aos produtos já definidos na lista pelo governo dos Estados Unidos, mas também uma certa preocupação em relação ao futuro, porque não há nenhuma garantia que, por exemplo, os produtos que ficaram na lista de exceções, e foram quase 700 produtos, esses não venham a sofrer uma nova alta tarifária em futuro recente.
Switzerland, slapped with a 39% rate, is seeking urgent new talks with Washington after last-minute diplomacy failed.
Der Bundesrat wird sich selbstverständlich weiterhin um eine Verbesserung der Zollsituation bemühen. Er wird dafür kämpfen, er wird sich einsetzen, er wird intensiv weiterverhandeln mit dem Ziel, dass in vernünftiger Zeit eine Verbesserung erreicht werden kann. Allerdings liegt das am Ende in der Hand des amerikanischen Präsidenten. Es ist deshalb richtig, dass die Schweiz auch im Inneren Maßnahmen trifft, um sich auf eine schwierige Zeit vorzubereiten.
Some countries like Taiwan are banking on continued negotiations, hoping their rates, in Taiwan's case 20%, are only temporary. Others are pivoting strategically. Ireland, locked into a 15% ceiling under its EU deal, is working on plans to diversify its economy away from heavy US reliance, especially on big pharma and tech multinationals. For some, even a small reprieve feels like a victory. Lesotho, for example, saw its rate drop from 50% to 15% at the last minute, but says the damage is already done. Months of tariff uncertainty have led to cancelled orders and layoffs in its garment industry, which supplies brands like Levi's and Walmart.
We lost like 200 jobs because, as you know, American orders, the specs and everything are higher than the local markets. So basically, we had to lose a quite substantial number of people.
Laos, Brazil, and Myanmar weren't so lucky, each hit with a steep 40% tariff. In Laos, garment makers warn the hikes could wipe out tens of thousands of jobs.
No one is winning this war. I hope it de-escalates, when we can get back to business and get back to doing what we do best, which is thriving. This is not good for Brazil, and this is not good for the United States.
And while many are scrambling for side deals, some trading partners have already secured better terms. Countries like the UK, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, Pakistan, and the Philippines negotiated reduced rates. The EU struck a partial deal, keeping most tariffs at 15%, though a hefty 27.5% still applies to cars and auto parts, frustrating Europe's automotive giants.
한국은 협상 과정에서 미국산 과체류 수입 위생 절차에 관련 양국 협력 강화와 미국산 자동차 안전기준 수용을 약속했으며 온라인 플랫폼법 등 여타 비관세 조치에 대해서도 미국 기업들이 차별, 불이익 받지 않도록 지속 협의해 나가기로 하였습니다.
Meanwhile, China, Washington's biggest trade rival, has agreed with the US to pause any new tariff hikes until August 12. Both sides are still in talks, but Beijing has hinted it's ready to retaliate if negotiations fail, raising fears of a renewed trade war. India's situation is especially tense. Its current 25% tariff rate could double to 50% in just weeks after Washington targeted New Delhi over its oil purchase from Russia. The clock is ticking with only 21 days to respond. The tariffs are meant to make foreign goods pricier and US-made products more competitive. But with global supply chains tangled across borders, the pain is being felt in factories, ports, and boardrooms around the world.
American consumers are going to pay. My expectation is that most countries will say it doesn't make sense for us to retaliate, because if we retaliate against the US, that hurts our own consumer, our own industry. So I'm expecting that the tariffs we see now will more or less be the pathway for the next several months until Trump gets another brainstorm.
Bottom line, Trump's tariffs aren't just a US versus one country fight. They are a global reshuffle of trade alliances, negotiations, and economic strategies. And for some nations, the next move will decide whether they survive the shock or sink under it. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.